Decent rally here.
Yeah.
Oh, go Felix's way. 2 match points now.
Here we go.
Yes, he did manage to get a lot on the return, and then.
Well, if everyone does their job, and Zverev holds this point, and then Felix takes it on his own serve,
yeah,
I will have been correct.
Looks like you're in a good position right now in terms of your score, but
Zverev winning 7-5 doesn't seem too likely.
Yeah, it's almost like your prediction of Zverev in straights.
Is that out? It's out. Felix wins.
Felix Auger-Aliassime, what a win!
Makes it 2 in a row against Zverev, and I guess first time out of the groups of the ATP Finals, and also a top 5 position. And I think that's pretty much confirmed, borderline, like 99% there. So
you give Divino 1%.
No, I think that's too high. But yeah,
I think that's fair. What a performance from
good for Divino to make it out of the group and make the semis. But generally, I give him no chance against Sinner. But what a great result for Felix.
Arguably the tougher group, I would say. Is that fair?
Oh yeah, definitely the tougher group, no doubt.
Yeah, the tougher group. That's an excellent result for Felix. Gets over the line against Zverev. Felt like he bossed it from pretty much. Kind of, as I said, 2-2 in the first. From there, he kind of bossed it, and it felt like he was going to win. Even in that tiebreak, I felt confident that he would get over the line, and he did. For Zverev, I mean, what can you say? What can you say, Carson?
Oh, he was very, very good today. Zverev was, seemed like he wasn't mentally there all the way, and then some poor execution and some poor decision making in very key moments. Just Felix played very well, but it felt like there were times where Zverev was just trying to give him the match. Hey, Sean.
Yeah, and it was,
there was just far more intention and purpose and conviction in the way Felix was playing in terms of going after the ball, being the aggressor, doing the kind of things off the first 4 or 5 shots in the rally that put him in good positions, whereas Zverev was really trying to hang on and defend, and I just don't think he had his timing. I think the forehand was all over the place, and in the big moments, it really felt like Felix deserved to win this because he felt like the better player. It was just a matter of could he put his nerves, and he did in the tiebreak. So
I've got a question for all of you, and I think this match, in a way, it sort of rounds off the year for both players in a sort of, this is Zverev's 2025, and it's been underwhelming as about as kind as I think I can be. Does that make sense, Vanch?
Yeah, I think pretty underwhelming. I mean, aside from the Australian Open final, it really hasn't felt like he's made much of a big impact at the top of the game, even though he's number 3 in the world. It just feels like he's there based on like quantity of tournaments and like a few deep runs, but it doesn't feel like he's threatening to, close the gap with Alcaraz and Sinner, or, I looked at his season. I think he only has 4 top 10 wins and 11 losses, which for a player who's number 3 in the world, that's pretty bleak. So there have been like some minor signs of decline from him as well, like at moments. So you kind of wonder going into next year if actually that goal of winning a major is just getting further away.
He just...
Yeah, it looks like John is done. John just disappeared, but yeah.
Yeah. I'd have to agree. I actually don't think Zverev could be any further from winning a major currently. As in, like, we talk about, like, Oh, Zverev is. We always say Zverev is like the best player to ever win a slam. He's getting further away. He's not getting closer. Obviously, that the quote from him in what was it, Shanghai, saying like, "Oh yeah, I want to join the party of Sinner and Alcaraz. I feel like I can." And since that moment, he has not proved that at all. At all. So yeah, John is back.
Yeah, sorry. Did you all address basically my Zverev point? Sorry about that. My internet dropped.
That's okay. Carson was just
I haven't, but I
Go, Carson.
agree with basically everything that Ferguson mentioned. Just that it doesn't seem like he's too close to Carlos Alcaraz or Jannik Sinner right now.
It feels like he's further away than ever, Carson.
In a way, yes. But is anyone closer to them than he is?
yeah.
Like, I'd argue not really.
I don't know, Carson. I have faith in half a dozen players that could make the leap, but I don't have that faith in Zverev. That's probably.
I think that, yeah, like there are players that could make the leap, but none of them have. Like they could, but right now he is the third best player in the world.
Mm.
And like there's just a massive gap in between the top two and everyone else. And
yeah. I would say Djokovic is more likely to win a 25th than Zverev is.
To win one. Do you agree, Vanch?
I do actually. I mean, I do think Djokovic would have won that semifinal if he was healthy in Australia.
Looking back now, yeah, I agree. I didn't think it at the time.
I do think generally he's he made 4 major semifinals this year. Zverev lost in the first round of Wimbledon, third round of US Open. Their quarterfinal at the Roland Garros was very telling for me, the way Djokovic was able to dictate that match so comfortably after losing the first set. So I do actually think Zverev is pretty far away right now. And you do wonder going into next year also, if he doesn't defend those Australian Open final points, that number 3 in the world is also not going to be there for a long time then. So
totally.
I expect him to be this. Sorry, Carlton, you go. There you go.
Yeah, I think I would disagree with saying that Novak is closer to 25 than Zverev is to 1.
Okay.
Novak himself said after the US Open he's not able to compete in best of 5 anymore against Carlos and Jannik. Those are the players you have. I
think if those two are not around, I still think he's probably more likely to win one than any of the others. Whereas I can't say the same for Zverev. If, let's say,
sure, but you're making a really big assumption in saying that they're not going to be around. Like they are around, and they're not going anywhere for 15 years.
Okay, but let's say in the next 15 years we get a slam where neither of them are there, or we get a slam where one of them's not there, like we did. Sorry, not like we haven't had one of those yet.
No.
But
I know what.
Yeah. So say Sinner's injured, and Alcaraz goes out second round because he was like half injured, playing poorly. In a final, at let's say at Roland Garros, Djokovic Zverev, I think Djokovic wins.
Also, which one is, messing up a third or fourth round match somehow and contriving to lose to Leonard Tien, for example, who Zverev lost to this year, by the way. Yeah, listen, I see what Carson is saying right now. He's world number 3, but honestly, would you trust Zverev bearing in mind? I don't think Zverev trusts himself. By the way, I want to move on to Felix because I know we're not going to be here forever. So I just want to reflect as well on Felix's year, but this, he's done what he didn't do in 2022 at this tournament, and I have lots of hats to take off to him, bearing in mind I thought his US Open win over Zverev was a mini turning point for him in many ways. What do you think, Vanch?
I think it was. I think that was a huge match because he was basically a point away from going down 2 sets to love, and he really burst into life there in that moment, and the way he was able to kind of use the way he was just able to get out of his shell in that match and come through it carried him through the rest of the tournament. That was a very legit run to the semis because then he beats Rublev in straights, and then he overcomes those nerves that he had against de Minaur, where he so easily could have lost, and both players were so tight. But really, I was telling this to Fergus and Carson during the commentary that it feels like he's been the third best player since the start of August. I know it's only like 3 months, but it does really feel like that because Paris final wins another title. It does feel like, and he has been losing to Yannick Sinner, but it feels like he's come into those matches and it hasn't felt like he's just there to sort of, like it does feel like he actually believes that he can push Sinner and he can compete with the best. So you're actually looking forward to seeing how the match goes against Alcaraz, and you feel like there's some belief there, and he's made some strides in his game. And
there's 3 matches with Yannick in the last sort of 6-7 weeks or whatever it is, maybe even a bit more, 8 weeks or 9 weeks. And yet there's something for him to take from all of those 3. I'm not saying that he wins any of those 3, but that could have gone 5 in New York, and I still think Yannick would have prevailed. The Paris Masters, I think it was you, Vanch, I was talking to either on a stream or on WhatsApp recently, that, it could have gone 3. He gets to the tie break. He only gets broken once in the entire match. I still think you cannot say that he was the better player, but this is far more than 98% of the tour, possibly even Zverev included, with the exception perhaps of the Vienna final, who are not laying a glove on him. And then even this week he gets to 5-6 serving deuce, and he, in that one point, he injures his calf. Now, not to a massive degree, as we know, because he's still in the tournament, but it does. I think it affects him in the next point. So he loses that point, and then he's just, how it is. I don't know if you all play tennis. I know Vanch does, and I know Fergus. Do you play tennis, Carson? When you fall over, but you barely hurt yourself, right? And you dust yourself down, the next point is a bit weird. It is a bit of a weird thing, even if you're fully healthy. But if you've actually done something a little bit, it takes you a few points to forget about, especially if it's on clay. All the clay is all over you and stuff, and you just feel a bit weird for a couple of points, and then you sort of put it out your mind. And I think maybe Felix loses that set anyway, either on a tie break or even that game. And then he took it into the beginning of the next set, and it was done, and that's fine. He loses 6-1 in the second set, but I don't know. I just feel as though there's something that he can cling to. Let's say that. Does that make sense, Fergus?
Yeah, for sure. I think, he said after Paris that he's getting closer, and he feels he's getting closer towards, that he's pushed him a couple of times now. I think that's fair. I think Vanch saying that he's the third best player on the tour as right now is accurate, 100%. He's, it's easy to say that because, we're in the part of the season where Felix, does the best. Mm-hmm. But, that US Open run kind of,
backs it up.
Counteracts that, says that, he can play on, outdoor. And obviously, a guy that's ranked as high as 4 in the world, 3.
I'm not sure it's not 3, but I'm going to say 4. Is it, Vanch?
For who, Felix?
Yeah,
for Felix, highest ranking ever.
I think it was 6. It was 6 in 2022, but now it'll be 5. So now it'll be a career high ranking. Assuming Sinner beats de Minaur, he'll finish the year 5 in the world.
Yeah.
So de Minaur's got a shot at 5, has he? If he wins that match, I mean, he doesn't have a shot at winning the match, but well, let's talk about that now. Let's talk about it. I wasn't entirely joking in the chat when I said, Vanch, that he's got to do something, and his serve doesn't deserve this, but his volleys probably do. Do a serve and volley once every service game. That's what I'm saying to de Minaur. He's got to do something, surely, Vanch.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he can take some positives from Beijing. That was actually a good match that he played against Sinner. He won a set. even in the sets that he lost, he had some break points. He was breaking Yannick's serve a lot more. Obviously, it's going to be harder to do that indoors because they were playing out, in those outdoor conditions, and it was just Sinner still working on the new service motion and stuff. But I genuinely he can just have a free hit and just play super committed because he did not think he was going to get out of that group going 1 and 2, and he sounded so surprised. He still didn't even really believe it when the interviewer told him that you were going to get in if Alcaraz beats Musetti. So just with that and just taking so much confidence from the Fritz win, I mean, he's probably not going to win. I mean, he's definitely it's very, very low probability that he'll come close to this one, but he can still like he's still one of the best returners in the world. He can still make this somewhat of an interesting contest from the baseline. Like so far, I don't think Sinner has been amazingly sharp from the back of the court. He's been serving amazing, and that's been getting him through the line. But I actually think from the back of the court, there've been a little bit of vulnerabilities early in some of these matches. I'm thinking of like the first 10 games that he played against Felix, and maybe the second set today against Shelton from the baseline wasn't as clean as we're usual from seeing. And this is like a really high bar. This is like comparing to last year and comparing to some of his other indoor wins. But it still feels like maybe there's something there, maybe a slight chance that de Minaur can look to